Like, we have to go to war with Iran, a country that doesn't have nuclear weapons or an air force capable of delivering them here.
And it's so convenient that they're evil. So convenient that they torture students and they execute Olympic gold medalists in wrestling because they protested against the government. It's so convenient.
Well, it's also like, there's evil shit going on all over the world. And it's terrible that there is. But isn't it interesting how, like, the next war, like I did a debate at Princeton University a few months back against Josh Hammer, who's is an editor at Newsweek. And we did like an Oxford-style debate on whether the U.S. should support Israel. And one of the things he said to me, so I was talking about like all this stuff, like the clean break strategy and the 7 countries in 5 years. And he was like, oh, the war in Libya, that was a totally separate thing. Like that was like a liberal interventionist war. And I was like, well, it sure is a coincidence that it was one of the 7 countries. You know what I mean? Like, what a wild coincidence.
Kind of crazy.
That the government we decided to overthrow was the exact government that 4-star General Wesley Clark told me we were planning on overthrowing way before any of these claims about how Gaddafi, all these bullshit claims.
The Libya one is wild.
Yeah.
The Libya one's wild when you see how good of a leader he was. Obviously an evil dictator. No questions.
An eccentric fellow.
Yeah. Definitely a piece of shit. However, for the people that lived there, they got no interest loans. They had incredible infrastructure. Their economy's doing well. They were at peace.
I think it was one of the richest countries in Africa, which is, grading on a curve, but
then,
still.
Then a few years later, after we invade, or we helped people, we assisted, it becomes a failed state, and they have slave auctions on YouTube.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I've heard it's recovered somewhat. People reach out from Libya and tell me that Tripoli is actually not bad
is
now.
Doing better than it was. But also, and the other part of this is that this was a huge contributing factor to the migrant crisis in Europe. Like all these things do have like these domino effects where it does. So then Gaddafi also was kind of like not allowing that to happen. Mm-hmm. And then you had these huge numbers of refugees pouring into Europe.
But
then
not
you see
just
the rise
pouring in, but it seems like they're wanting them to pour in.
Yeah.
This is where it gets really strange.